Welcome. Welcome. Hey, want to hang out and chat? That's what it is. That's what it is. Michael Superpacker. Hello, dude. Hello. Oh man, this has got cold and darker all of a sudden today, so I'm feeling low, kind of depressed. That's how I am with my bipolar. And I just want to chat, chill. Like I want to hang out with people and friends, and I don't want to talk about anything specific. I want to just chat. How are you doing today? Well, I'm blah. Like like I'm supposed to be playing a game today. Like I'm supposed to be playing Metroid Prime, but I'm having so many head issues today I can't. And I just want to relax. I want to chill, and I don't want to leave the world empty-handed. So I'm like, why don't I just talk to people? Be awesome. I mean, so much on my plate lately, so much work on the channel and the wife's channel, and like you can see in my eyes, they're kind of droopy, you know. Let me spice up the mood. Boom. How are you three doing? Yeah. And man, if any of you are friends of the channel watching, I can send you a link to the StreamYard if you want to jump in and just talk. No structure, just BS. Chill, because it's good to hang out. Johnny, good evening. Good evening. Man. So I want to start a cube series in the future. I updated my cube a lot. My preacher, I updated my cube a ton. Preacher, do you cube? Do you? Ooh, what's going on? All right. Oh, cool. Nice. Hold on. Hold on. Someone commented a very important message about game night. It's funny, but it's timely. All right. Aw. I don't cube. My kids got me into Heavy Commander right now, though. Well, if you want, I can show you my cube here on the live. You're the man. I always see you upbeat, positive. You always make me realize everything's gonna be all right. Oh, that's thank you. Always being amazing good vibes. I try to be in good vibes because I like personally dealing with depression. Like I deal with depression, and luckily I have a loving family here, and I have a world where I can just vibe and not be so depressed. I got a good vibe in general, so it's getting in a lull is like a daily thing, and getting out of it's a daily thing. But sometimes, like tonight, it's just heavy, heavy. Solar God. I mean, you guys. By the way, you guys in chat, these subscribers, commenters, friends. You really make being live awesome and amazing. Solar God. Hold on a second. All right, let's see. Let me pop this up. Hold on a second. Sneeze attack. Boo boo. Marty, what's up? Oh, Preacher's here. Preacher doesn't get enough attention when he's here. And I'd like to show him the crux of my collection. Here's the crux of my collection, my value. Here's my cube. Like, I only have one Esper Sentinel to my collection. Esper Sentinel. Boom. Well, one of those cards you like more of, but he's just too expensive to buy. Giant Killer, River Giver Runes, Mother Runes, Core Spirit Dancer, Phalanx Leader. Yeah, you can tell. There's a here. Non-creature spells is a secret theme in white because it blends in with other colors, but it's about enchantments. That's Enchantress, Monastery Mentor, Prowess. Thalia Heretic Cathar. Thinking about taking her out of the cube actually for a replacement. Umbra, Heliod, Radiant Dawn. Oh, I love this card. Baneslayer Angel, Celestial Ancient, Celestial Archon, Lyre Dawnbringer, Sun Titan, Ajani, Caller of the Pride, Sorry Kev, Arquette. Pretty amazing. What program is that? Like my cube I was on? That's cubecobra.com. Elspeth Night Errant. Love that version. Ooh. I wanted another version of her. I want another Elspeth. She's kind of pricey, or at least she was. But I want her for my Planeswalker deck, my Jeskai Planeswalker deck. Elspeth Sun's Nemesis pretty good. Gideon, I notice a lot of Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers hit the prowess vibe. That's what I'm going for. Elspeth Sun's Champion. Can never have enough of her. Light and Tutor. Path to Exile. Swords of Plowshare. Declaration Stone. Martial Coup. Open the Armory. Day of Judgment. Wrath of God. End Hostilities. Fumigate. Chroma's Vengeance. Ethereal Armor. Sigarda's Aid. All that glitters. You can tell there's an enchantment theme all in there. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Voltron. Style. Strategy. Rest in Peace. Spirit Mantle. Do not underestimate that card limited. Suspension Field. Banishing Light. Yeah. I don't know. So it's for cube building. If you build a cube, a Magic the Gathering cube, which is a draftable set, like you make a little draft set of yourself, like you could, like if you collected all of Ravnica cards for a draft experience, you can list them here to know what's in your inventory. So, but it's like these are playable. Like let me show you something. All those cards, Marty. All those cards you're seeing on that list are all sleeves ready to shuffle up and play right here. Right here. These two rows right here. All ready to go. This is the monocolored section with artifacts or colorless. This is tricolored section, two-colored section. And this is lands. Lands. Non-basic lands. It's ready to go. Draft set. Ready to play. Time capsule. Hello. So it's a playable thing. It's meant to be played. It's meant to be drafted, play sealed, build decks out of. Yep. But I want to show Preacher some of my fun cards here. Philadelphia Retreat. I love that version. Want another version just like that for another deck. Catharsis Crusade. I need another version of that. I hate saying that, but. Mantle Agents, solid. Single Empty Throne, janky card, but in this set, it's really worth it. Serious Safety, always good. True Conviction, boo. Awesome card. Then you go into blue, and you can tell I love looters in blue. Got Jace's Prodigy, Looter Elcor, Merfolk Looter. Yeah, Mind Tricker, I'm thinking about taking out of the cube. I don't know what to replace it with yet. If I can get something else with Prowess that's pretty powerful, I'd probably replace that with that. Herald Evasion, I know it's blue with a black ability and turns into a blue-black creature on the side, but it's mono blue for what it does and what you need, so it's mono blue in here. And Thought Carrier, yes. An Aether Channeler. Aether Channeler is solid. comes into play. It's basically, and to me, it's another version of Mana War with extra abilities to get a bird if you need a bird, or draw a card if you need to draw a card, or return a permanent. Chromos Seed Shark is pretty awesome. I just added him to the cube last night. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, which, you know, blue-white is pretty powerful, as you saw. It's pretty neat. Does it tell you how many you have? Yeah, like I have 700 or 526 cards. No, 726 cards in this cube. Then in the front page, it tells me the value of the entire cube of all the cards I own. Look at them all in Jace's. Hey, I love Jace. Jace is my favorite Planeswalker, especially in blue. In blue, he's my favorite Planeswalker. Yeah, like Liliana's my favorite black Planeswalker. Chandra's my favorite red Planeswalker. Johnny's got to be my favorite white Planeswalker. Garuk got to be my favorite green Planeswalker. Yeah, my favorite red Planeswalker is Sauron. No, Chandra. No, Chandra is, well, it's a mix between Chandra. I don't know. Love Lily. Lily's amazing. For sure. Let's see. You know, I don't want to go through every card and be like, here's a list of every single card. But like, I want to highlight like Overcharge Amalgam. I think is underrated for limited. 4 mana 3/3 flash flying. Enters the battlefield. You get exploited creature, and if you do, you counter target spell, activated ability, or trigger ability. Yeah, Mind Flayer is new to the cube. Guys, like any of these cards, if I can get in special art, like special art renditions, I'll replace the regular over any day. Like I mainly put Uctus Grand Arc I put Uctus Grand Metatech in the cube because of his alternate art and his ability for other blue creatures you control whenever they become tapped. You draw a card and discard a card. Yeah, that looting ability and that special art is what put him in the cube. I mean, he's good for attacking. That's what you want. So, and he has an ability to pump your artifact creatures and an ability to turn creatures into artifacts. Yeah. Everyone loves it. That's right. You know, look, there's handsome Jace. Like he's a pirate. He's like, ooh, ah. But there's my favorite Jace, the Mind Sculptor. My second favorite Jace is Jace, the Memory Adept. Then Jace Wilderness Mysteries is easily third. Man, there's Fixed Jace. Yeah. Opt. Yeah, I wish I had a cool version of Opt. Consider. What I'm going through? Oh, Gifts Ungiven. One of my favorite mono blue cards ever. Yeah. Fact or Fiction. One card that I just put in the cube today because Mr. James Willis mailed this today in my mail day video is Tinker. Now, Tinker's not an amazing card in this cube, but it will have its house. What I need is a big artifact bomb to make it worthwhile putting in a deck. And there are some good cards in the deck to throw the Tinker out with it, but I need some better stuff. I want to take Masked and Diminish out of the cube for something better, but Masked Diminish is fun. Oh, yeah. My favorite color in the cube is black because it's Reanimator. You got Leon Standard Bear, Midnight Reaper. You know, you got your basic stuff. I really love this version of Demon Catastrophes. Like I said, I'm a fan of alternate foil arts. So whenever I can, I will play them. And I'll put them in the cube. Kalidas, he's a good card, but I really need to replace him. He's not good in the cube. He's decent, but like I need something better. And I don't have something better to replace him with. He's like just something far better. That's your playmat. Look at you, Discord. Look at your Discord. All right. My Discord. No, my wife would be ashamed of that. Well, I'm not all about that. No, he's showing me that playmat we all seen of Lily and Chandra being romantic. No, it's not what we want. No, I mean, I get it's your thing, but no. Nope. Not my thing. You're like, that's my playmat. I've seen that playmat. It used to be a huge deal back in the day. All right, there's that Friction Obliterator. He's in this cube. This cube's multicolored, so this 4 blackness is really heavy. It's for the Reanimator theme. And deck is, 5/5 for 4 mana. You're like, 4 pips is heavy. Be Reanimator. Skin Render. Spawn of Mayhem. Bloodgift Demon. Doom Whisper. Obnixilis the Fallen. Demon Lord Belzenek. I like these 2 cards. Obnixilis the Fallen's a champ. Grave Titan. Woo! Cooksure the Evening Star. Man, I wish I had a super cool version of that card. Archfiend of Spite is definitely, like, some people have casted him from hand, and played him. He's pretty powerful. His recursion ability and his madness effect is nuts. Shieldred. I need to get a regular Shieldred, or not regular. I need to get the plain Shieldred in this cube, not the 4 mana one, but the 5 mana. Each opponent sacrifices a creature 1. Good, Michael Superbacker just pre-ordered a case of sorcery. Ooh, nice. You pre-ordered a case of sorcery? That's awesome. People have been liking that. What's this? Oh, is that a video to your next? Is that a link to your next video? That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And if anybody wants to join me and on here on StreamYard, you can send me. You can DM me on Discord to let me know if you want, or you can just tell me now and I can find you in Discord. I'm just going through the cube because I want to show Preacher what's in the cube. I like this hero's downfall. I wish it was foil, but it's not foil. But I like it because it's alternate art. Tortoise loves his alternate arts for sure. Like that cast down spicy, like that costly plunders foil. I want to get an alternate art Dismember eventually. One of my favorite Black Planeswalkers is that, but here's Lilion Death Majesty and Vil too. Yes, I run Grizzlebrand. Grizzlebrand's my favorite demon of all time, like for Magic. And he's banned in the format I play the most. Why is he banned? Why is he banned? How are you guys doing today? All right, you enjoying this view, Preacher? I want to get to know you a little bit better and chill out with you, Murderous Cut's a really good card. Profane Tutor, really good. I don't have enough tutors, but no one has enough tutors apparently. Bone Shards, woo woo. That's in here because it's a good card, and I really like the old bordered as an alternate art. Killing Wave, miss those game day promos, Dragonthorn Tarkir is a nice artifact, bomb equipment, creature, Defender 2. Dragonthorn Tarkir is a nice artifact, bomb equipment. Creature, let me blow that up. It has Defender, it has tap 2, give your other creatures plus. I have a copy of that somewhere. Well, I'll have to see. All right. Boop boop. Boop 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 boop. No. All right, sent you link. That's cool. Yeah, boom. That'd be amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Mind Twist. This is the first card I've ever done the bin test on. I bought it and I couldn't believe it because it felt different. That's from it was made different apparently. I did the bin test on it and I thought I was going to break this card, but no, it didn't break. It didn't fold. I thought it was fake for a minute, but nope, it was real. Reanimate. I need more copies of this card. Never enough. Black Sun Zenith. Oh, I love this version. Oh yeah, Chandler's Edict, Demonic Tutor. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, bud. How's it going?
Let me check a few things here. Am I there?
You're here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Man, this is the first time I've heard your voice ever. And I've heard a lot about you.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, all I hear is like the whispers of the gods to you. James talks about you like crazy. Like when he talks about you, he's all good news and like you're the best friends, been around for like over 20 years, built these relationships, all this good stuff. Not to overdo it.
Am I good now? Do I hear through my headset?
I don't know what your setup is like because we hear you. We hear
I
you.
can hear you now in my headset. I was hearing you through my speakers, so I was having a hard time.
Oh yeah, that's weird. Sometimes how the computer overwrites things. Because when I first got my Yeti over here, when I first plugged it in, the computer overrided for the headset, the listening part to go through. So I had to listen. I had to plug in headsets to the speaker to listen to it. Till I realized I just had to change settings on the computer, and I felt like a dumbass for it.
Yeah, no, I haven't been on my computer for a couple weeks, so it's been what's this setting? What's that setting? So I'm very, very non-tech savvy.
Well, from what I know, you're also a very busy dude.
Yeah, well,
yeah. Not to get into anything.
yeah, don't need to worry about it. It's just work.
Yeah.
Just work.
No, yeah.
So
that's cool.
No. Excellent cube. I get to stare at James's cubes a lot.
Oh, so, yeah.
We don't really have time to play that because we're always trying to play other things.
Oh, yeah. He tells me about like your game nights, and he's always like every day after your game nights, he tells me how much fun he's had and what games you guys played, and he's really into your D&D sessions, and he's very happy about that too.
We've been on the Gloomhaven kick. In fact, we're playing tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we've been trying to figure that one out slowly. I think we're ready for like the 7th scenario.
Right.
So
yeah, I played Gloomhaven a long time ago. That game is rough but fun. We have so the wife has for 1 year for Christmas accidentally got 2 copies of Gloomhaven, the Den of the Lion. So now we just floating around with 2 copies of that for no reason. Other than we play one version.
Why not? Why not buy a third? Then you can just juggle all 3.
Right. Well, the joke is we probably just ditched the game for the miniatures for D&D.
Yeah, well,
they're really excellent figures in there.
They are good figures. I'm just a crap painter. So I'm old. My eyesight's going out. I got this big old magnifying lens on my desk to do any of it. So it's, and I say I'm old, but I'm only a couple years older than you. So,
well, yeah, I was it. I'm turning 40. To me, that's the oldest I ever been.
Yeah, I just turned 41.
Woo-woo.
But no, life's always good. Life's always grand.
That's awesome.
So,
I mean, I'm excited. Like, you don't know how giddy I am. I'm hearing your voice for the first time.
Well, I'm glad I could make your night.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah. Like when you say you jump on, I'm like, holy cow! Like he would. I mean, I joke around. James doing it. He's like, no, I don't have the stuff to do it. I don't want to do it. I'm not going out of my way to do it. And I'm like, but when James gets on a roll, he's like really fun to talk to.
Oh yeah. He's always been that way too. I've known James for 25 years.
Right.
So, no, I've played a lot of games with that man.
Oh yeah, he's been around forever. You know, your friendship. That's pretty amazing. He's talked about how you this trail, how you guys met to how he used to play how do run magic at his house and had this whole life story, and he talks about how Joe met Sally basically and just went up the trail, and now it's his family. And he's like, I got to experience. His thing is, I got to experience all these good things. And he says, karma comes around and gives you good stuff when you do good stuff. And
well, we almost made the man cry last week for D&D.
Yeah.
Because, now we're into the next generation. My kids are 20, and I got a set of twins. And so if I say my eldest daughter, they're 11 minutes apart. My eldest daughter, though, she created our one-shot campaign that we do for Halloween. So
right.
James is just like, here's our third generation of game nerd running around everywhere. So.
Oh yeah. I heard a good 30 minutes of that.
Oh, I didn't know. Here I was like, I have information. No.
Well, no, it's good information. Well, it's nice to hear it from your point of view. I mean, but James was like, he was telling me like all the blessings he basically gave her and all the good vibes and the good words he gave her because he was so impressed with it and loved it and everything. And he's like talking kind of what you're saying, but he embellishes on it. And not by embellishing, I'm not saying it's like going above what he means, but I mean, like, he really like flourishes on the details because he really loves and being part of it, like he was so happy. He didn't tell me he was almost in tears though. That was
well, he's just enjoying himself, like getting him out of his house and doing stuff like that. So
oh yeah,
it's a good time.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
So
no, that's pretty awesome. I mean, like I was excited when he told me that you guys were going to do game nights because there's a long time where he was just sitting at home and I was his only form of entertainment for a while, and all of a sudden you guys started doing game nights again, and he's like, I'm so excited, I'm so pumped. And like he'd tell me, he's like, I don't want to sound rude, but I'm basically overly excited. Preacher's coming all the way down here to pick me up so we can go play games. I'm like, that is cool. How cool that is. You're at home, you're stuck at home for a while because mobility. Then all of a sudden someone's like, hey, you want to do something, and what you're doing could probably feel like something small to you, like just to do, but for him it's like the whole world, and he loves it.
Yeah.
Well,
my problem is, all of my past game groups, they've all fallen apart. Everybody moves away, stuff like that, or stuck in small towns.
Right.
So it's just really hard to find people to do that stuff with. So I created my own. I raised children to play my games with me. I always had James, and the kids brought in one of their friends to come play with us, and it's always been a good time.
See, I am lucky. My family, every Monday we have game night here. And so every Monday when we can, we pull out a good board game, which ironically, we've been playing Monopoly, which is pretty much a sin in this household.
You get that too, huh?
Yeah. Like we never played Monopoly in this household before, but the child comes home one day with SpongeBob Monopoly and wants to play it. Then about a week later, comes home with Cedar Rapids Monopoly, which is like some generic version of the game. And we had played it, and we had fun. I almost won twice.
Almost.
Yep, got smashed by the other players. But no, it's fun. We love especially my wife. She loves board games. I mean, like, yeah, I can't really flip the computer around, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 plus that is 14 plus like probably like 27 board games in this house. Like, and not just your your regular board games. We're talking about Stardew Valley, Avondale. We got like a bunch of Villainous, Dominion, which is one of my favorite. We got Quacks and Killerberg. I can't read all the names, but I'm talking about the heavier board games. You know.
Well, we started board gaming because my kids, they are of their generation and they like staring at their cell phones way too much. So it was come and play board games with us instead of staring at your cell phones.
Right. No,
So
that's cool. That's cool. And see,
once we started doing it, then it just became, okay, we have one night of board games, we have another night of Magic, stuff like that.
Oh,
Keeping
I
the
wish we
family
got more
involved.
Magic in. Magic's become the bane in my house because when I was first part of this family, I got everybody into Magic. Then I accidentally got into pub stomping, basically. And I didn't mean to, but I thought because like my brain didn't know how to judge what was below my level and what was my level, and so I was trying to bring everybody to my level, thinking they were going to be at my level, but because the backstory is these people back then were heavy gamers. I just thought they were like that, but no, they play Magic lightly, and I was like the very competitive, hardcore guy. Which over the years I've swinged and swooned to the other side, where I'm not so competitive and whatnot with Magic, but I've salted the group. So if we ever play Magic, it's like a big deal.
Well, with me, I had to get out of competitive mindsets as well.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
especially when playing with young kids, because they can't handle it.
no, especially when you're doing like overly complicated combos or some big early game, big smashy stompy stomps they can't deal with. They're like, I wasn't ready for that. And because it's true, when you get to a certain level of Magic, like with a certain level of skill, you get so involved with the deck building process and the way the deck runs and functions that you forget what it's like to be a noob. You forget those questions you had, you forget those ways of thinking. So in some ways you lose your creativity, in other ways you improve your creativity. Meaning where you lose it is you forget the curiosities you had when you was new, but you find more ways to be creative with your certainties, and that hones your skill. And you're like, like I had to learn how to kind of get back in the mix.
Yep. I made that mistake. When I came back to the game, and what was it, like 8 years ago? Because the kids actually drugged me back into the game. I had been out for several years.
Right.
And the kids were just like, we want to play games. We want to play Magic. Everybody tells us that Magic is this great game and all this stuff and other stuff. And then I warned the kids, saying Magic is the bane of my existence. If I take in Magic again, it's going to be, we need to be competitive. I'm going to spend a crap load of money because I have to have it all. And you're going to be bored because I'm going to want to play all the time. And they said, no, it's okay. We'll play. Well, after about 2 years, I had one kid drop. And then me and the other kid, we went to the same card shop every week and played Friday Night Magic and had fun. Wasn't trying to be super competitive. We just eased back into it after a while. And now was probably a year since we'd been playing cards in here. A couple months ago we just started up again. It's been, the other kid jumped back in, and it's just been a free-for-all.
Right. Yeah, I miss those old days of F&M. We lived too far away from the game shop to do it, especially with work schedules and everything. Just can't do it. Like the closest shop we have runs F&M every week, but I'd have to walk there, and it's a couple miles down the road. And like I don't mind walking a couple miles when I was younger, but now I have health issues, being diabetic and everything. It's harder to keep up with that. Plus age.
Yeah. And now it's cold, and that's even worse.
Right? Get those frosty nipples when you're out there. I joke about that all the time. Like today, it was really cold and windy. Like I don't know how it is on your side of town because I know you live further away from me. I think south,
Hmm.
more south.
Yeah.
Um, but but like the temperature's been cold and windy here in Cedar
Yeah.
Rapids.
Here down in Southwest Iowa, it's just been. I think our high today was like 43,
Mm-hmm.
but we had a constant 20 to 30-mile-an-hour wind all day.
Woo.
So, first nice cold day. I actually had a Friday off. It was
Mm.
nice. So I got to hang out with my wife before she went to work this morning or this afternoon, and had kind of a nice day because my wife works second shift, so I don't get to see her very often.
Right.
And that's just where we were at. I took a good nap,
Hell yeah. Naps
and
are awesome.
now here I am on the Tortoise Show.
Hell yeah. I'm happy. Like, I'm actually surprised James ain't here. I sent him saying live he might be napping or might be doing something, but he's really gonna kick his butt when he realizes you were on here.
I'll text him right now. Why not? Let's poke the old goat.
Because like he'll be like I know he's gonna be like if he doesn't hop on, he's gonna be kicking his butt, like his own butt. He's like, no, it's like you did this. Like I bet, like tomorrow, if he's asleep and he forgets, and if he's asleep and he doesn't come on, and I call him tomorrow, he's gonna be telling me about how he missed a great time.
So I was gonna text him, but I was too busy to set up my microphone and stuff. So, but we'll text him now. We'll see if he comes on.
Right now, normally for minutes I don't text him because I'm playing video games. But like I said, I kind of in a lull, and one I struggle every day with my positive attitude because I'm a natural light person, and we got blackout curtains all over the house. And that's because everybody else lives the nightlife. Like the child works like second shift from 1:30 ish to 11. The wife works over or works graves, so they want to get their sleep during the day when they can, as long as they can. And I'm supposed to be awake during the day because I'm the one who prepares the meals, prepares things for people to do stuff, and I got to make sure the house is doing all right while they're sleeping. So it's always a constant battle, and it's too cold to have the doors open. Like today, like no, I normally wear like gym shorts every day. I actually had to put on some PJs. That's how cold it was.
Yep, I'm right there with you. When I went outside to go to work today, it's just like there's no way this is happening. I was
Right.
supposed to be siding the house today, and it's just like, no, this ain't happening. We're supposed to be in a lift siding the second story all day.
Ooh. So not only are you supposed to be outside, you're supposed to be higher up in that wind.
I get really bad motion sickness.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time I tried to do that, I was up in a lift for 5 minutes and hurled off the lift. So I wasn't going to puke off of it again, and told the crew, we're done. Go home. Or wait, don't go home. We're going to go fix some doors.
Yeah.
We went and fixed doors all day.
All right, you get motion sickness. That's good to know. So maybe I should turn off this background for you if you're looking at the screen.
I'm not really looking at the screen a whole lot.
Oh, okay. All right, because I realized the
Lights
motion.
don't do it. It's always shaking.
Oh, shaking,
Like
man.
being in a vehicle, truck, car, whatever. I have to be in the. I'm a front seat passenger, or I'm driving. Being in the back seat, I will be sick within a half an hour.
Ooh, that's not good, especially if you're traveling a lot of places.
Yep. No theme parks for me.
I don't even know if I could do theme parks anymore like I used to as a kid.
So, just whatever. I'm good with it. I don't do boats.
Oh, I could do this. Boom. Totally didn't think about that. There, I had a lot of the motion if you do look at the camera. But yeah, I don't drive. I don't have a license. I am too fearful of the roads. It's like I can drive Highways and freeways pretty good, but inner city driving just guts me. Like I don't have a reaction time fast enough for stop signs, even though I've never been in a crash before or anything. It's just I get so nervous and wound up that something bad's going to happen on the road. That's a legitimate fear for me to drive in the town.
No, I get that. My youngest is a little bit like that. She has anxiety, and
Mhm.
so her driving, it's always been, we take it easy. She's been driving for 4 years or so now, so
Right,
she's a lot more comfortable. She's had to get used to it.
right. That makes sense.
So
Yeah, and
I'm glad that we could ease her into it.
mhm.
It's very helpful when she can help me out with some driving.
Oh yeah, that's pretty amazing, actually. That's some big steps. Like in the future, that'll be more appreciated when when she looks back and be like, wow, if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't have gotten here today. Well, thanks, Dad.
Yep.
You know, like I've never been in a situation like that, but I can understand how awesome it is to have someone in your life like that. So that's amazing.
But yeah, nope, everything's always good down here in Southwest Iowa.
Mm.
So
You say Southwest Iowa, but I'm also in Southwest Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So are we in the
what bottom 4 counties?
bottom four? You're like I'm in tornado zone.
I'm almost a Missourian.
Woo, almost close, but no
Almost.
cigar. No, that's cool. I mean, we don't always choose where we live, and sometimes where we live chooses us.
Well, I was born and raised in my area, and I've left and just come back. Hate the jobs that take away from here, so I just come back and start the construction crew up again and
Well,
go
yeah,
from there.
that's the way to do it.
So
If you can do something that you love and don't mind doing, I'm not going to give the cliche of you never work a day in your life, but if you do something you love and don't mind doing, it's just easier. It's
oh
just
yeah.
more relaxing. Yeah, give me. I'm a person who realizes work is work. All right, there's effort in that. If you don't mind doing it, it's still work. It's just easier work.
Well, my problem is I was born and raised on the farm.
Nice.
So I do not do well sitting in front of a desk.
Right,
If I'm
right.
sitting around playing video games, whatnot, okay, I'm sure I'm fine. But if you tell me it's a job, it's work, I am just the most. I'm like a kid filled full of ADD. I can't sit there and concentrate on nothing.
Oh yeah. That's no. See, I used to be very active as a youth, but I was uncontrolled youth with bipolar disorder, never treated until my adult age, and I've walked everywhere, and I walked fast, and I walked long distances. Like I didn't realize it, but when I was like 12 years old, without paying attention, I'd walk to the library, to the library in Utah. I don't know, Ogden, Utah. I'd walk to the library, get on the internet for like a few minutes, look at like at that time was superhero Transformers, Beast Wars things, mainly Beast Wars things, and I'd go from the library and I'd walk all the way to Shopko, which was on 12th Street, which is miles away, and I would walk to Fred Meyer's, which is a couple blocks away, and I'd do this whole loop and walk 13 miles every day without paying attention to how long it was. And I'd do that over and over and over again, not because I was working out on purpose, but I had an objective, had a goal, and
You had places to go. You had place to be.
James,
Willis made
are
it.
you giving away all our secrets from our history as friends? James, welcome. Finally,
James, we're all
we
good.
we poked and prodded you enough. We woke the sleeping lion.
Oh, that James Willis, he's a good
Yeah,
man.
but like, anyways, what I was talking about is like I was always on my feet moving, like, and I always struggled between being overweight and underweight growing up, and that's because I did too much and I would lull a little, did too much, lull a little, did too much, lull a little, and no one knew, is because my depression was up and down, and no one even, and I come from at the time a stubborn Christian family where they didn't believe in mental illnesses or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So God was going to take care of me. And so my parents, for the love of God, never got me to be treated for any psychological conditions, which I'm mellow compared to my older brother, who is far off more bipolar, and I don't want to say messed up in the head. I mean, he's a very much over the top juvenile delinquent, got arrested over 100 times, been in and out of stuff, been out of lockup and houses and everything, all that. Like my parents looked at that and thought God had a plan, and so, and I don't want to offend anybody here who's religious. There's just some people like my parents who just went too far with it, and and that was me growing up. And that's like what happened was, after all these years being that wild, rambunctious, aimless person, is I ended up meeting my wife when I moved to Cedar Rapids, which I moved to Iowa on a whim because I just had friends who asked me if I wanted to move to a different state, and I said yes, and just moved with them. But I don't tell people that story very much, but no thought, no cursor, no plan. I just moved, and luckily, through the process, I met my wife at the time, who I met while she was playing D&D at her house, and I was going to do some magic trades. And after I met my wife and we got serious about it, and I moved in, I started tame down. I started seeing a therapist right away because she said, you might be bipolar. We should get you checked out and see a therapist. And I've been seeing a therapist all these years. And just because of that, I've mellowed down, and I became the person who could sit down in front of a computer and not fidget and go crazy. So, well, all that to say, I used to be just like you in an extreme different way, but like where I couldn't sit down. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, right. That's the great thing about people. Everybody has their own story about how they are, where they came from, and that's just part of life.
It is life, and you know what? No regrets.
No,
like I don't regret moving to Iowa at all. I mean, I left, like, I was dumb enough to leave family and everything. Like, they knew I was leaving. They knew I was leaving. They had a couple weeks notice. That's not enough, but they had a couple weeks notice. But I left. But I didn't just leave without notice, But like, if I didn't make the leap to Iowa, I'd never met Riblets Gaming, Casey, my wife. That's how it worked. And we've been together for about 10 years now, a little more than 10 years. Like, we were together before we got married for a couple years, and we got married. So we've been together like a good amount of time. Like, most successful relationship I ever had.
Hey, I told my wife that too.
Nice.
And then she threatens to divorce me. And I say, you won't leave me. And then she says, I'm right. But at the same time, I'm just stuck. We treat our marriage more like a contract negotiation.
Right.
If you want something done, well, this was in the contract when we got married. It was. Son of a gun. Okay, I guess I'll take you out for steak tonight.
Steak dinner. Steak dinner and foot rubs. That's on the menu. You're like, I didn't ask for foot rubs. It says it's on the contract.
Yep, it's in the contract.
Right. Well, see, I don't know if you know this, and I never hid it. I'm not the worker in the house. I'm the stay-at-home. That's why I'm up during the day, make sure everything's ready for everybody while they're sleeping and stuff. So we joke around about a contract too, because we joke around that since I stay at home, I rub the feet, I make the dinner, I do all this, which like I do a lot in the house because it is a marriage agreement, but we joke about it too, but we never joke about divorce. That's the only difference. Like, we're serious about a relationship, because the neat thing about a relationship is most people who get in a relationship that I know personally try to meet people who line up with their likes and dislikes very familiar. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. I mean, like they try to match up as close as possible. Her and I fell in love together, but we were polar opposites of each other. I was this wild rodent, and she was this major control freak. You know, like we were completely polar opposites, but we just loved each other. And over the years, we actually fought for what we had and mended our differences and became more like each other over time with our unique differences, because she's still the control person and I'm still kind of the wild person, but we've met in the middle and have tamed ourselves. And I say tamed because I'm not longer wild, but like super wild, but I'm still the excitable, crazy one compared to her. But we're in the middle where we're more like each other than we've ever been. And that's where we like it. That's how we love it. Like, we both have our extreme things that make us happy. I mean, it's kind of weird, but it works out because she sleeps all day when she's working, like during work days. Yep. She sleeps all day. And that's because she's a graveyard shift, you know? So that's why I do my 11 a.m. show. Why I'm like, 11 a.m., everybody's sleeping. I got time to do it. Let's do it. You know, it's harder to do that at night when it's dinner time or I'm hanging, you know, I got a few hours till she calls on lunch. So, you know, we work with our differences and we mend and we build together our commonality. It's like, I think it's unique, and the reason why I say the things like I'm saying is because I've had this discussion before with different people that I've learned to process a way to say it to make sense.
No, I'm a firm believer in opposites attract. Mm-hmm. So, and the sign of a good marriage is always communication and compromise. Mm-hmm. So you just telling the story, that's what it is. It's just communication, compromise. You will grow together to be the couple that you are. And that's, thankfully, that's how me and my wife have been. And, you know, it just, when marriages have problems, it always seems like there was no compromise. There was no coming together.
Right. It takes work for sure. And anybody who thinks a good relationship is a relationship without a good fight is telling themselves a lie.
Now, I cannot say that for myself. I've only had one good fight with my wife, and the bad part of it was over a Magic game.
Ditto.
Well, and she kind of forgave me for it, but at the same time, it was
Right, and I understand that. And all I'm saying is, if you believe you can have a marriage without one good fight, that's a lie.
Oh no, you're gonna have them.
Right, and you're going to have differences in opinions. It's how much you love each other and want to make up for the difference. You know, if how much you love for them, what you're willing to give up, or whatever you're willing to negotiate and compromise with. That's a happy medium there. Mr. Ben, hello.
No.
Would you consider getting more wives in the well, he must be joking.
No, I could only handle the one wife. And if she decided that
hello,
at any time, if she wanted to be more than I could handle, she could be.
Look, I've had jokes about polygamy coming from Utah. I've heard jokes, had jokes. But the truth is, one wife is enough. One wife is enough to have in your life, and one wife is more than enough to not want another. You know, one is good. Hello, Aaron P. What's up? Yeah, I started tonight not playing a game because I couldn't handle it tonight, and I don't want to leave you guys hanging. Because I love playing Metroid. It's just when I have a night where I can't focus, I'm like, I don't want to get frustrated and over pissed. Kitties don't fight.
Yeah, you're sitting there playing Metroid, and all I can think about is playing Metroid Prime. Super Metroid's the only way to go.
The Super Metroid, man, that game was a banger. But Metroid Prime was a good successor to it. I think.
I can agree with that. I'm just overly fond of Super Metroid. I do not know why. It's just a fun game. Probably the greatest Metroid game they'll ever make, because they won't make a side scroller anymore. I don't know why.
To be honest, if you think you can handle two eyes, you can treat them equally. Then what is the problem? Well, it's not my dream to have two eyes. Like, I'm not greedy. I love my wives. But we're going to rule off that subject. Just rule off. Waffles! Hello! Waffles, you're amazing. Yeah, I replied to your message. I'll get back to that really quick. I wanted to type in. I think that's it. Boom. Yeah, I typed it. I replied it. So I'll wait for you because I love it when you're there telling me what to do because I do not know how to play that game correctly. Oh man! But what's amazing though? What's amazing is it's like I lived Magic. That played Magic, got into Magic, and through Magic is how I met my wife, which is amazing, 100%. Because before I met her or her family, which I met them all at once, because they were having game night at their house, and somehow my friend's girlfriend at the time knew my son's girlfriend at the time, who were playing Magic. And somehow got texting over to be like, hey, I have friends who want to do trades. Let's do trades. And they're like, okay, let's do trades. And so we went over to the house to do trades, and they were playing D&D. And I'm like, ha ha, D&D. I never really played real D&D by then.
Yeah.
Like I played roll dice and have fun. You know.
D&D is great.
D&D is great.
The problem is I'm old and I don't have enough time, or else I would play a lot of D&D.
When you reach age 63 and you apply for retirement, then maybe you can do. Then you'll be able to shake your cane at the sky and yell at it.
Yeah, yell at the clouds.
Right? Like, darn cloud, get out of my eyesight.
Yeah, but then I'll be yelled at by James because I'm trying to copy him.
Well, just play counterspell. Yeah, that'd be funny. Can you imagine two old men with magic cards?
Oh no!
I do not want to fight against any more clowns.
James likes to tell me now that I had been having a back issue for a couple years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep herniating a disc in my back, and he keeps telling me that I am too young to have wheelchair races with him yet.
Herniated disc is where the disc pops out, right?
Yes.
That's not good. That's not good. You got a back brace for that, right?
Now I do.
Yeah, all right. Now, after the damage has been done, you're like, I did it a couple times. You know, I remember my Coogie dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the story is my mom kept me away from him for all my life, growing up. So I never met my dad until I was an adult. Right. So and like they got divorced when I was like 5, 6-ish, and ever since then, and I saw him like once or twice. Then he left, he paid his child support, whatever, and my mom never let him in our lives. Don't know why. Don't know the full story. There were some lies in between that I'm not going to get into. But like, so after I moved out of Utah, because my dad had this distaste for Utah. After I moved to Utah, he reached out to me immediately and tried getting back in my life, and because of that, we reconnected. And the first conversations we had is, talking about growing up, because he wanted to know everything about growing up, because he never had ties for me. I wasn't tied to a family and everything.
Right.
And he wanted to build this relationship. And the one thing he always said is, when you're young, you're invincible for some reason. You feel invincible, nothing bad happens to you. But when you get older, and I'm learning this, the more I get older, the more older you get, the more breakable you come.
Yeah. My dad always told me that too. And it's just like, nah, you're old. I have no problems.
Right.
To this day, for the last 30 years, I've called my dad the old timer. All he does is complain. My back hurts. My knee hurts. Well, now every time I'm around him, I go, my back hurts. My knee hurts. And he just
Right.
laughs at me. Told you.
It's cool. Before I got majorly into YouTube, because if I did YouTube during this time, I would have totally streamed it. Is a few years back, before my dad started having major kidney issues and stuff, because the reason why Cookie Dude gets on the lives in the morning is because it's the time he's most awake and most vibrant to be awake and hang out. But before all that stuff got too big for him, like the kidney issues, because he does dialysis like 3 times a day, and that's a lot on him, and he falls asleep a lot. And but before then, him and I and the wife would play Minecraft together across the states, over online.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of CTM maps? Probably not. Maybe.
I am not a Minecraft person.
Okay, so CTM maps are called stand for CTM stands for complete the monument, and the way they work is you basically go through puzzles, like 3D world puzzles, and find certain items that you can that are controlled to be able to be very rare and only find, and you find them, take them back to the monument, and you put it on the monument. So you had a list of things to find. Well, I'd spend hours and days building CTM maps with my dad and Casey. Like, we'd do it in shifts where, I had all day to do it. They would work. He would work it all day. We'd work together all day. We'd hang out and talk over a headphone and everything. And when Casey's home, she would do it while we were doing it, and we'd build these maps to do it. And we'd spend like collectively over 100 hours building CT maps and playing them. Like, we were some serious gamers, and that was the first time Dad got to hang out with us, which was pretty amazing. Like this is the first time he got to hang out with the wife and I, because he wanted to be more into our lives. And I'm sorry to sound like a sob story, but it's just very touching to me.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good, joyful story.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. That was fun. Well, you might not have been to Minecraft, but just the fact that you get to play with your kids is amazing. That's the comparison there.
My biggest joys in my life is hanging out with my kids, playing games with my kids, talking to them, understanding what's going on in their life. So I can only imagine what it is for him being able to do that now with you. So.
Oh yeah, so many times that he totally wasn't able to be there, and now and as much as I could, I just let him in as much as he could, because and that's why a couple comments on Discord or on messengers by a couple people I want to anonymous name, asking why I let him on when he like fibs up on the computer side of things and whatnot, and just a couple people that I've kind of just ignored. Ignored the ignorance of it. And I'm like, you do not understand right now, especially with Dad's issues. I'm like, every moment he gets to spend with me, I don't want to sound like a downer, but could be his last for all I know. And right. I don't want him to feel like he can't be a part of my life. When there's no excuse to not let him be a part of my life. You know what I'm saying? And there's no excuse to say no, he can't hang out. He wants to be involved. He wants to be as part of it as he can. And sadly, out of all his children from his groin, if I could say, all the children is groin, I'm the only one who he gets to talk to as much as he does, as often as he can. So I feel like I'm blessed in the way that I can be a part of that. And I think it's amazing.
No, it's a great thing. Since I've been so busy, I've been able to catch the morning shows often. And, he started showing up. It's like, oh, his dad. That's great. As long as the conversation doesn't derail that bad, I'm pretty good.
Right. Honestly, made me really happy hearing that. Oh, thank you, Mr. Ben. But yeah, because honestly, like if anything, like I used to be a wild hog, but with with a bipolar perfectionism, and I don't know how to explain it other than if it went the wrong way, I'd freak out. And that was a big obstacle for me to get over. So I had to honestly, to kind of understand my mindset and a lot of things. If I have to think of things as a kid's point of view, because that's how I'm going to understand it. And I have to think of it that way for myself, I got to apply it to others so I don't freak out.
No, I get it. Mm-hmm. I have some anger issues in my life, and that is, sometimes it's just hard to be a rational person.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's what I deal with every day. Like one of the things I talk about my therapist is like, if I mess up, I want to beat myself up so much.
Well, I'm sure you've heard about my deck box throwing habit from James.
Well, actually, James told me that you would tell me that story one day, so he's never embellished on it.
Oh, I am an extremely competitive person, especially in my youth.
Right.
And we always had a good group of guys going doing magic stuff and all that other stuff. But I was so hard on myself to play perfectly at all times that, I didn't ever express my anger towards people.
Right.
Because that is not something I wanted to do.
Right.
But I would just get so angry in the moment because, cards don't come off the top that you need them to do, or you messed up a turn before or something like that. I just got to get up. And so my only outlet is to throw that deck box as far as I
can. And you know what? Like, honestly, better that deck box than it is someone's face or yourself.
Right. And so
I mean, that's what they're there for. They're there to protect the deck.
Yeah. I never had too many bad cards out of doing it. It's just I was too competitive.
Right. No, I remember being in that mind frame too. Like, I never tossed a deck, but I've surely ripped cards before. Like, I'd take a card. I'm like, this card's no good in my deck. Dude, that was a $10 card.
Yeah, I think I've done that too.
And like the one thing that saved me from going super all out was the fact that I always had a friend reminding me the game is completely random, no matter how controlled you think it is. He's like, you're going to have that issue.
Now, the problem is I can count cards. So my brain's always running percentages on what's coming up, what's coming next. I got a very autistic brain when it comes to playing cards.
Oh, yeah. It probably is something about the spectrum, too. Who knows?
Yeah. So it's just, that's how it always ended up.
Yeah,
granted, it didn't happen very often because I did win quite a bit.
Right. Oh, yeah. And, well, like, there's this one guy. His name was Bruce. And he was the worst kind of gamer. He was the gamer who thought money got him everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like he spent so back in the day, Lauren, Stasis Orbs told the story before if you weren't there. But he spent all the money to make this elf deck back time Lauren was good, but the next set came out and elves were no longer so good. But he spent the money on this deck. And he had a bad time that night. And Andrew could tell you the card that made the deck bad and why the deck rotated better out of him. He has a mind for Magic like that. He knows how to break it down. Mm-hmm. But like this one night he was playing this day game. Every game he was losing. And every game, the game was over because it'd be quiet for an F&M. It'd be quiet for an F&M, but the game was over. You'd hear him, I should have won. I should have played this. I should have had this. I should have had this. And you go through 5 different cards that he needed to win. And I'm like, dude, that's a lot of cards. And yep. But my issue, the reason why I didn't even though I've had a couple times I got angry, the only reason why I didn't get angry as often as some people is because I was too much more of a Timmy than I was a super aggressive player. I enjoyed finding the stupid combos or finding the deck that no one else is playing. So my mindset was well, is this going to work? Let's find out. But then when I got in the competitive mode, which I was when I was super new and tried going for prizes, when I got super competitive mode, that's when I get angry. Because I remember, I always tell people, the first deck I really got into with Magic was Simic. The one deck I don't talk about a lot is after Simic, I built Rakdos. And that was an aggressive deck. And the more aggressive my decks got, the more competitive I got. So if I lost, I felt like twice as much a failure.
Yeah. That's part of the reason I always tell my kids, because they say, why do you play these weird decks all the time? And I said, the game always goes better for me is not to put it on my opponent or anything. But if I'm playing a combo style deck, then it's more like I'm playing with myself than against the opponent.
Right.
So I don't have any weird interactions with my opponent.
You know what's funny is back in Innistrad Standard, that's exactly why I built a self-mill deck.
I know you started around. You always talk about your heyday being the Innistrad era.
No, yeah, Ravnica is when I first got in.
Ravnica is when you first got in.
2005. Yep.
See, I was doing my most heavy, more competitive style play during Odyssey, Onslaught, Mirrodin. Mirrodin broke me of having to play.
That was combo heaven and broken synergies.
Right. And then they invented the Darksteel Ravager, which destroyed everything in the standard.
I remember that. I remember Darksteel Ravager going infinite.
And it was just crazy, crazy business. But I was playing DCI sanctioned Magic 3 times a week.
Woo.
During that time. Because back then, they didn't have Friday Night Magic. They had they had Friday Night Magic. They had Sunday Arena League.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes they would do a Wednesday night league.
Oh.
So we were playing whatever you could get your hands on. And back then you only had Type 1, Type 2, and Extended.
Right.
So that Wednesday night was an extended league. So there you are playing all forms of Magic that you can get within a week.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was, where I'm situated at, I was driving an hour and a half one way to get to the game stores.
That's gas.
Yeah. I literally worked my carpentry job to pay for gas and buy Magic cards for 2 years.
Wow. I was like, that's commitment. I mean, I've played Magic way more than that. Not to sound like I'm one upping you, but the gas and the work, the live, I understand that, but the gas.
Yeah.
At least gas was cheaper back then.
Yeah. It's paying.
Because
I was burning through, well, and this was back when gas, was $1.50, $1.80.
right,
I was still burning through $50 in gas during the week.
driving a big old truck.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
Well, I had a
Yeah.
96 Chevy 1500. It got me everywhere where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, there was the reason why I talked about it, I said I played way more Magic than that. There was a time where I was having a hard time finding a job for like 3 months, and once 4 days a week, 4 days a week, I'd go play a Commander night at a certain time every day of the week at a different shop because we had 4 different shops in like 8 mile radius at one time. And we'd play Commander, sometimes two games of Commander, and it would start like at 4 p.m. And before then, it was looking for jobs, filling out applications. But I did that for like 3 months straight, just doing that drive through. And I talked about the gas, but I always had to walk like 3 miles to get to the first game store. I was young and dumb. If I was smarter back then, I would have focused more on that job.
No. The stories he can tell are almost better than the work.
Like my favorite story to date that I've witnessed happened in Magic, besides my all land deck story, which is like my top favorite because I personally was involved, was we had a 16-player pod of Commander. No, not 16. An 8-player pod of Commander. We only did 16-player pod twice. Was there? Everybody got scrubbed out of the game except the blue player and a green player, and the green player thought he was going to win because he casted Genesis Wave for 36 and was getting the top 36 cards of the library to get all the permanents out, and his opponent had a what's it called?
Evacuation.
No. Oh no! What's the name of the card? The name of the card should be in here. It costs like 8 mana and 4 blue. If I can find it, man, I need to reorganize my binders.
Omniscience.
No, it steals all your. Okay, so if I can't remember, I know the card does. It costs a lot of money, a lot of mana, and it says whenever a permanent went into the battlefield this turn, you gain control of it.
Oh.
It's not in there. I went through my binders today. I'm trying to remember the name because it has like a large, like the artwork has like a large, crazy looking owl looking at elemental on it. And I know I have a copy of it somewhere, and I haven't put it in a deck because even though I still need one, which I'll get one eventually shortly, is I need no one plays Genesis Wave much anymore, which I don't understand because it's still a powerful card. But what's the name of the card?
Blatant Thievery.
No. Good choice. All right, I could probably Google it faster than look through these binders, but I like looking through binders because it makes me feel nostalgic.
Sorry, my brain is for a lot older cards, so it.
Oh yeah, well, there are some older cards I still want, like a Treachery, and a Treachery is one of the cards I want to get when I can, and because blue is my saltiest fun color. Not Bribery, because Bribery is just fun.
Bribery is fun.
Control creatures. I'm trying to remember because I hate it when you know the card but you can't think of the name. And I know it's something easy. Maybe I should do. because it costs a lot of money, and I don't know which binder it is. I'm trying to see if I can find it on Wizards right now. But it's from the card. Oh, here it is. Gather Specimens.
Okay.
All right, cost 6 mana, cost 3 generic, 3 blue, instant speed. If a creature would come into play under your control this under an opponent's control this turn, it comes into play under your control. That's what it was.
Okay.
And
Shards of Alara card.
yeah, I was about to say that. How did you know?
Well, it takes me a while.
Uh,
Especially with cards you don't see or play with that often.
right.
But it's like, if you go, my brain is a weird Magic encyclopedia.
Right.
Up until, I would say, the Alara block was the last block I played before I took my 7 years of play off.
Right.
So I pretty much have that entire card cyclopedia from Alpha to Shards of Alara.
Right. And man, Shards of Alara was one of my favorite sets to play, by the way. The whole block.
It was fun. I raged at the creation of Planeswalkers.
Oh yeah.
For a long time I raged, just because when you introduced them, it was the same problem that Kaladesh Energy had.
Right.
You created no cards to deal with it. Now you got plenty of cards to deal with stuff like that, but
Gather Specimens, James Willis. Yeah, well, the game's going to end. The Magic's going to end when they always show something new they're going to do. Now I'm looking to see if I have the card. Damn it, curiosity. I know I have the card, Gather Specimens, somewhere, but I just don't know where it went. But yeah, it's like the game ends when, like, I remember the game was going to end for Magic when they got rid of mana burn, and they're going to fix the stack.
I like where Magic is right now as a player. It is especially friendly to new players, but there was a bunch of stack nuance that they took away that just got you deeper into the game.
Oh yeah. Oh, so much has changed in Magic, and it's always been for the better. I mean, there's this one time I was playing, and this guy kept trying to play ship at the beginning of his untap step, and I'm like, no, you can't do that. You got to be good. You got to know your stuff. But like mana burn, I'm glad they got rid of mana burn. You know what? Planeswalkers are fine. I don't know why they're having the backlash with Planeswalkers. They're going to do 1%, but maybe they have a weird plan on the side. But like, I don't think there's a lot they're going to do that's going to ruin the game. And you know what? Like we've talked about a lot, the collectors scene is changing, but like the way collecting is changing, but it's not hindering anybody from collecting.
No.
At all.
No. I like seeing the scale back of Planeswalkers just a little bit, just because you're making them very generic for the sets.
Right.
When you have more than a couple, it just becomes.
I kind of miss here's your 5 Planeswalkers for the core set. See you next core set.
I do agree with that. It makes them a little bit more special, something a little bit more they can sell a core set on.
Right.
Because I'm very pro core set, but I'm very pro how they used to do core sets. I really like the every 2 years you got a core set,
right,
and not one every year.
Yeah, like core sets, the original reprint cycle that no one complained about.
Yep.
And core sets were healthy. I mean, the best thing about core sets is they say, hey, this is when standard is legal. Continue.
Yeah. No. I could tell you that during the heyday of us playing at James's house, we drafted more core sets than anything else.
You're
8th
probably
edition was huge. 9th edition was big, even though there wasn't much changes between the two.
right.
But it especially helped the new players.
Mm,
We had an influx of people all the time coming to play, and most everybody had those cards. I can
right,
see it from Wizard's business standpoint that hey, these are products that don't sell,
right, right.
but your player base was very healthy because we would crack core sets, we would draft all that other stuff, and I would just look at whoever was new that day and go, here's the cards I played with.
Right. Well, you know what I miss, especially about standard back in the day, heyday. All right, is one, core sets, and two, being able to remember the catalog of sets that were legal and standard. So you're like, hey, I want to look for cards to build a standard deck. What sets I got to go to? Well, there's pretty much 5 sets a year. Let's check these 5 sets.
Yep.
Now that's the problem with Commander, and I know you watched my lives and stuff to know this. Commander makes you have to care about what's in every set, and that just makes everything insane because there's everything in the world to worry about. 100 plus sets, plus the 50 sets coming out this year, plus the secret layers, and I was going to make a Christmas reference, but I'm not. But just insane.
Well, there's good and bad with that,
Mhm.
because I think it's good just because Commander is what Legacy should be, but it's
Mhm.
not. So, of course, you're always going to look at stuff, but when you build your specific Commander deck,
Mhm.
you're only going to look for those style of cards.
Right.
So you're just going to peel through and not remember 95% of a set
It's true.
anyways. So it's no big deal on the
Mhm.
player base, especially if you're a person who only carries 1 to 3 Commander decks.
Oops.
The bad with it is that the past couple years, you can say they were making cards in standard just for Commander players,
Right.
and that I don't necessarily agree with.
No, I get that, and the only downfall to Commander is there's all those cards. The nice thing about Commander, like when I try to build a deck or I'm in the mood to build a deck, I just lean in all heavy theme and I just search for someone asked me a long time ago, and this is no big thing, but someone asked me a long time ago when I look for cards, how to look for cards, and what I do is if I'm building let's just say a discard deck. I don't have a discard deck, but if I'm looking for a discard deck, I'll go to Google, I'll type in MTG, type what the card does, target player discards a card. And usually it prompts up, here's a list of all the cards that say target player discards a card. Have a heyday, go through all of them, find the best ones you want.
Nope.
And I try to fit that theme. Like when I built Rafik, the mini, like when I rebuilt him, because I've had a deck a long time ago that was different. But I'm like, I want to look for some Exalted themes. So I went to Google and typed in MTG Exalted. And it said, oh, you want a list of all the cards with Exalted? Click here. And I went through there and found all the 2/1 drop cards I could find with Exalted. And I'm like, boom, throw them in there.
Yep.
But
all, especially beginner Commander players, that's all that they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a great thing about Commander is that there are so many resources to utilize on the internet,
right,
that you're going to be able to build whatever you want, however you want.
Oh yeah, and the nice thing about it that people complain about, but I think the nice thing about it is most of the cards you want to use are pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
And that's a great thing because look, if certain investing collectors had their way, the average cost of a commander deck would probably be like $300 to $500.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the reprints and the price going down, the nice thing is the average cost about a commander deck is around $100.
Yep.
That is a big leap forward. $100 is still a hefty entry to the game, but if you're spending like $1 each card, and this is assuming that some cards are worth a little more than a dollar and whatnot, but your basic lands and whatnot fit that cheap price budget. $100 is a cheap entryway, especially
Oh yeah.
when you get addicted to Warhammer. you know,
No, $100 is good, and I always try to stay with cheaper formats, anyways,
mm,
just because I don't. To me, when you turn it into who's got more money, it just becomes a not as much fun.
right.
So, like, I I've got a lot of pauper decks built.
Mm,
I am a big proponent of pre-modern as a
right.
format,
Right.
just
Right.
because it's super cheap. You can build a pre-modern deck for under $50
Nice.
and be super competitive. I spent $5 to build a pre-modern deck,
Oh, that's awesome.
and but that's just the formats I enjoy. And
Mm,
if you do your research on the formats, you're gonna find a plethora of decks that are cheap, will win games, you'll have a fun time, all that stuff. So, and now since the prices of cards have gone down here lately, sure, we could play some more Commander. We can go ahead and build whatever we want to build and
mm,
go about it and not have to break my bank account. Kids make me work too much, anyways.
right. Well, what the thing I love most about cheaper cards is not the fact that the cards are cheap. All right. I like cheap cards and I like cards that have value. Like today, I did a little wiggle jiggle dance when I realized my cube has gone up in price again after it's dropped down. I'm like, it's
Of
gone up
course.
a little. I had a little wiggle jiggle. And not wiggle jiggle, that sounds weird. I had a little dance. But at the same time, what I like about cheaper cards in the format is not because the cards are cheap, but it gives people an opportunity to meet me at my skill level.
Yep.
Like if my skill level was expensive, it wouldn't be fun if the person was cheap and their cheap deck can go against the expensive. No, the cheaper the cards, the more entry level people have getting in. And there are some broken combos out there that people cheat. I don't like running broken combos all the time, but there are some combo pieces that are just cheap that people get into. And the best games I ever have is when I feel like I'm going against a worthy opponent and not someone with tier one pub stop. It's when I feel like the games are neck and neck, and anything can be decided by the right card. That's always like the fun game.
Yep. Nope. I understand that. Back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
when we used to play at Willis's,
Right.
all of my buddies got so tired of me winning all the time that we invented the let's just call it the preacher challenge,
Right.
that they would all put after, if we were playing in 2 weeks time, they would get a hat and just write a card name down,
Mm-hmm.
throw the cards in the hat, mix them up, have to pick a card out, pick a paper, and whatever the card was, I had to build a deck around that card to play the next week.
Nice.
So no, it just kept everything exciting and fun, and you never
Mm-hmm.
know how things are going to go.
All right. Really quick. Johnny says, I want to see more counter dorks. I run 3 of those dorks in my Grixis deck. Mundungu, Disruptive Pitamage, and Disruptive. Counter spells on a creature, basically.
Yeah, the creatures that tap to counter a spell unless they pay 1.
Nice. Those are good. I had a conversation the other day. It was funny. I'm like, you want to have cheap, fun salt? Run a lot of board wipes in your deck. I run board wipes like crazy. I'm like, the reason why board wipes work is because if you're running a budget deck, it helps mitigate the problem of your opponent having an expensive, higher power deck. And like, unless it's a non-creature deck that works on combo focus energies that you can't deal with, board wipes help even the board plane, so you get a chance to win against them. And they're like, board wipes? Like, board wipes.
I have 3 copies of the same modern deck in my house because when the kids play, my
Mhm.
oldest daughter loves modern, and all she does is play Bogles.
Boggles. The
But
one deck I wish I played.
I always tell their friends when they come over, I'll sell you a deck for $5,
hmm
and you can beat Bogles with it.
hmm
So I sell them. I forget the name of the deck, but it's the deck that has the swans in it.
I don't know what deck. I don't know modern
Treasure
very well.
Cruise, or not Treasure Cruise, Treasure Hunt, and Seismic Assault.
Oh, just board wide.
So no, it's just burn out your opponent with Seismic Assault because assault your. What is that swan?
Swan Song? No, that's a cash spell. I don't know. Is it the goose, golden goose? I have no clue.
Oh, I'm looking it up.
Look it up.
Swans of Bryn Argyle.
Oh, that's a 3 white blue, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. If it's dealt damage, you prevent the damage and you draw that many cards. So if you get a draw up your entire deck and then finish Seismic Assaulting out your opponent.
Boo! Hell yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
So, and it's like I said, I'll sell it to you for $5. So there's a boatload of those decks out there because that's how much the deck is. It's all mountains, islands, and treasure hunt and swans, Seismic Assault.
Were you there when I told you about my online deck?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I was not.
The story I love telling the most. If I ever had a moment where I had the saltiest player, I made a player so salty over winning, it was hilarious. All right, like you never hear a story about someone winning and being salty about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
TCG dude, hello. Yeah, Tortoise on Friday. Normally I'm playing a game, but we're just chatting. So, anyways, I had a deck that had nothing but basic lands in it and one spell, and it's like Primordial Genesis or something like that. Can't remember the name exactly, but it costs like 8 mana, and it said reveal the top card of your library if it's a permanent card put into play, and repeat the process. And so, basically, if I pulled the spell and was able to cast it, I milled myself out, and nothing happened, right? So, anyways, I was playing against this dude who's a lawyer, and I bring up the lawyer because it's a significance that he's more educated than I am.
Oh. Well, I was about ready to ask: is he an actual lawyer or just
a
rules lawyer?
Actual lawyer, like that's his profession. So, anyways, he's playing a blue-white tokens deck with Jace from Ravnica at the time, where if you ultimate him, you get to search your opponent's library for a creature card to put in the battlefield, or something like that. Like I think it's a creature card. And his board wipe was Elspeth Sun's Champion, and I'd play the turns out. Like I'd look at my hand, he'd play something, I'd look at my hand, assess my hand, act like I have an answer to my hand, but really it's all basic land, or maybe that one spell just chilling out doing nothing. Never missing a land drop though. And I'd sit there and I even made a joke out of it. Like I'll sit there, look at my hand, look at the board, look at my hand, look at the clock, look at my hand, look at his board, and I'd be like, no, you good. And he'd play it and like, all right. And he was playing things like so collectively thinking I had an answer to something, but he's playing Planeswalkers. There's not a lot of removal for Planeswalkers. And the first game was the only game he really took for him to be salty because he's playing around everything I'm doing and I'm doing nothing. All right.
Yep.
That's the legitimate thing. I'm doing nothing other than playing land, making him think I might have an option. Well, he goes through this whole game. He's making tokens. He's starting to swing at me. Then he gets Jace built up, and he ultimates Jace. And he gets to go dilly-daddling looking through my library, which I kind of have a shit-eating grin on my face at the time. And he's going, and I didn't realize the response I was going to conjure out of this, but he looks through my deck, and he realizes it's all basic lands except that one sorcery card. And he looks at me all furious, like he either realized he'd just been played or whatnot, but he won the game no matter what. And threw my deck on the table and says, "Don't you take this game seriously?" And gets all flustered, hands in the air. He says, "I thought you had something going on. I thought you had this going on." And he's all flustered and he's trying to calm himself down, all pissed off, walks to the store manager or the store owner, Jamie, who's like really good friends of mine. and starts complaining to him about it. Tries to get me disqualified, but because he won, I'm not disqualified because he won legitimately. He won a game. He just didn't get his combo off, and he got played. And dude, that story makes me like.
That's great. Nothing better than an opponent playing themselves.
Yeah, made a player salty for winning.
Reminds me of a game I played at a Legacy tournament. Well, it'd been Type 1 tournament a long time ago. And, well, pre-Mirrodin, it seemed like every Legacy tournament, or Type 1 tournament that you played, like half the field's playing Illusions of Grandeur Donate.
Yeah.
If you know that combo. And I was on my third round of playing against it. And this guy happened to play a Helm of Knowledge. So all spells cost a generic one less.
Right.
And he did everything he could. He fire and iced all my lands to tap him out. And I was left with 1 white mana.
Right.
And he goes, donate to give me his illusions. And I just tap the 1 mana, disenchant it. And that dude threw a fit right then and there. Called over a judge, did all this stuff, was raging about how I'm trying to, screw him over about this stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, it's your card. Making me able to do this. You can only blame yourself. So he forfeited it out after that. It was funny.
What was it? That reminds me of a game I had where this. What was it? So I was 1 mana shy from winning the game with a time walk combo, and I had the time walk in hand. No, not the time walk. What was it? No, I can't. My brain is thinking, and it's having a hard time remembering. It's been years. Let's see. All right, so yeah, some guy played Haunted Wampus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all got to put a creature in hand, and I had Deadeye Navigator in my hand, and I got to play it because everybody puts a creature in hand. Yep. But I had stuck at 4 mana, so I couldn't play my time lock that I drew into afterwards, and I'm like, oh, I can win the game because I had 4 mana. And I had it's one of my favorite combos that before I did the Simic thing was Archaeomancer. The guy who comes into play, returns a sorcery to your hand.
Yep.
I had him. I had him out, and I had I had Deadeye Navigator. I had Archaeomancer out, soul bonded to him, but I just didn't have the 1 mana to play my time lock card, which costs 5 mana. I can't remember the name of the card, but it's in my deck. But 5 mana, take an extra turn. But anyways, this guy plays this arcane thing where it makes everybody's sorceries and instants cost 1 less. And it's from, I believe it's I can't remember the name of the enchantment. It's an enchantment that makes everybody's sorceries, instant sorceries cost 1 less. I think it's Jason's Sanctum or something like that. I could be way off on the name. But anyways, because he played that card, I was able to play my time walk. And because the time walk was played, I was able to take infinite turns. And I didn't have to say, well, it's because your card. He realized after I played off his enchantment that I won the game because I got the time walk and I ended up getting a ramp to my win. Last time I played an infinite turns combo for years because I felt so dirty that happened.
Don't feel dirty. They allowed it to happen.
Right, but because what is it? Not only was there the reason why I stopped doing this because there was this one guy who was playing a Niv Mizzet deck, and all he cared about was doing infinite turns, and that was his old goal as a turn. And we played with this guy 3 weeks in a row, and every time he'd win. Because all he had to do was get into one of his many extra turns combos and go infinite with it. And he had enough in his deck that it just went insane, and we just gave up on it. And so we made a ban rule on infinite combos. Then later on, we went from the ban rule to restricted mode, saying if you're going to have an infinite combo, have one or two, and your deck not rely on it, because this guy just kept on pub stopping. Well, not literally pub stopping. He's not beating us up, but he kept taking over the games with these extra turn combos. And then this guy came in with the Grixis deck after we released the ban infinite turns ban to a restricted, and this guy came up with a Grixis deck that just ran off the Singwin Bond combo back in the day, and just wrecked face with that because all he did was tutor his cards because he had enough tutors in his deck to tutor everything in his Grixis deck to get the tutors in early turns, just beat it out. So we got tired of infinite combos for a long time. Especially when your main goal is to go infinite. Even though the Singwin Bond combo is not legitimately infinite, it's just, you play it, the game's done. You're like, there's no fun in that.
Yep. Nope. That's why I try to keep, especially in the house, we try to keep infinite combos out because, once again, we go back to more beginner players and stuff like that, So
no, you're good.
I try not to beat up my kids too much.
No, and it's a good thing because I beat up the family too much when I was playing Magic with them, and I felt bad because they're like, nope, we're not playing Magic anymore. And so whenever we do play Magic, it's like I gotta treat it like a special event. All right, but anyways, I gotta actually head out and get ready for the wife to call in a half hour.
All right, no, good conversation. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming on. It was amazing getting to know you, talk to you, to meet you in person, so to say. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping here in a couple weeks. I got one daughter up by you. She's going to U of I, and she has now, since we've gotten back into Magic, she has threatened to buy me a webcam so we can play Magic over online.
Nice.
So I'm hoping at some point I can join the Saturday night games.
Oh, that'd be cool. So, pub stomp us because you got like these old school decks that just go infinite like turn one.
No.
I'm kidding.
So,
no,
all right,
good.
man. You have a good night.
You have a good night too, bud. And yeah, I really enjoyed getting to hang out with you. It's amazing.
So, yeah, I'm here along for the ride.
Oh yeah, appreciate that 100%. And for you guys out there, thank you for watching. And
Shockwave! What is your command, Megatron?
Subscribe for Magic the Gathering and other content for evil fun.
Fear not, Megatron. Cybertron shall remain as you leave it.